What's up, YouTube? It's your boy, ShakesP. Keeping it 100. Y'all already know how we do here, man. Right now, we're going to jump into a reaction. I know you guys know what I'm going to react to right now based off of the title and the thumbnail. But when I say that I'm excited to do this, it really is an understatement. I've been wanting to do this on my channel for over 2 years. I've talked about it in my live streams for over 2 years. Right now, we're going to do some father and son. This segment portion of the channel is all about blowing my father's mind. It's about introducing him to artists I know he doesn't know exist and just watching him get floored. I talk about it all the time. My background in the music, I'm a third generation recording artist. My father's been in the industry for over 60 years. There's over 200 produced and recorded albums within my family. Every member of my family can play minimum of one instrument, from aunts, uncles, cousins, kind of you name it. My father went to the original Woodstock when he was 19. So without further ado, hesitation, and all that good stuff, let me introduce you to my father, Mr. Brian Gladstone, world-renowned figure-picking, plucking guitarist, festival director. Welcome to the channel, Dad. It's been a long time coming.
Wow, Shakespeare. Yes, it has been a long
time. I've been talking to my subscribers, to my subs. Every time I go live, I like to play at least one of the family songs. So whether it's from my brother, your other son, Jeremy, from Zygote and his music and stuff like that. So I talk about it all the time, but let me just have, before we get into this, because I've never really asked you some of these questions as well. So this is going to be new for me. How old were you when you picked up the guitar?
I was 14. It was 1964. It's actually when the Beatles came out, and I figured out really early that girls like guys who can play the guitar, and that's where it started. So many other guitarists of my generation.
Aside from the Beatles, was so George Harrison was an inspiration for you, is what you're saying, or just the Beatles in general?
Well, the Beatles started it, but I think it was the entire British, they call it the British invasion, and all the British bands became the top 10 bands across North America. And that way I would listen to the music, but I would always listen to the guitar. I would pick out the guitar playing, and I would try and figure out what George was doing or what Eric Clapton was doing. And I listened to it, and I'd come home and try to do it.
And was it easy to replicate?
No, it wasn't.
Like cover songs. I mean, is for you as a songwriter and a singer-songwriter, is it easier for you to write something yourself or cover another artist's material?
Well, I don't really cover any other artist's material. When I write, it's all unique. But don't forget, I have so many influences. My guitar playing really represents every guitar player I've ever heard in my entire life that I admired. So but that's how guitar playing works. You add your own original material, but you also go back to the stuff you practiced 20, 30 years ago. That are really the basics of what you learned.
So going back to your statement on the British invasion, were the Yardbirds a big inspiration for you, or were each guitarist that was in the Yardbirds an influence later on in their career?
Well, the Yardbirds had a number of guitar players, but at one point, Eric Clapton and Jeff Beck, which are two of the top 10 guitar players in the world, were in the band at the same time. So I learned from both of them, and they had a conflict because they both tried to outdo the other. So I think at one point, Jeff
that's Beck a good conflict to have, though. That's a good conflict.
Well, yeah, sort of walked off the stage because guitar players like to be, it's all about me, but. They were both excellent, and the Yardbirds certainly came out with a lot of new sounds, new notes that people hadn't really heard before.
So, and the artist that replaced Jeff Beck was pretty good too. Jimmy Page was pretty awesome.
Jimmy Page, yeah, of course. Or in those days he was James Page, but Jimmy Page, yes, that's correct.
So the whole premise of this, I told you, I explained to you in the intro and stuff like that, is to introduce you to artists that I react to. Yeah, I'm a rapper, and that's the kind of music I gravitated to, but I also grew up playing the drums, grew up as having amazing music as the soundtrack of my life growing up as a child, which also growing up in our house and in our family is an experience in itself. Like there's never a family outing without multiple guitars being pulled out and classics being sung and just having the unique voices that run within our family. I don't react really to any hip hop because my musical taste is so wide that I'm probably not going to get you to react to any hip hop with me or any rap. But this was heavily requested by. Right now, we're going to react to Marcin, a guitarist from Poland. This is Paganini Caprice, number 24 on one.
Nothing here.
What's that?
Yeah, okay. So I don't know where he's going with it. I don't know what type of song it is, but he's learned to utilize two things here. He's using a lot of open strings, which it's a guitar player's secret weapon, and he's doing a lot of what they call hammer-ons, and that allows you to play two notes with one pick stroke. So he's taking advantage of those two things. I don't know where the song is going, but he's, as I said, he's working on the lower two strings or the lower three strings. He's doing a lot of pickoffs, and he's doing a lot of hammer-ons, and that's a tool that a lot of guitar players use to play two notes or three notes for the one.
So I've heard this multiple times, and I do have to say it still blows my mind. It's still just like crazy. Paganini's Caprice number 24 is something that everybody knows, but he arranged this all himself. And I believe this is a little bit of one of his older songs. I think he's only like 19 or 20.
19.
He's still like a young kid here.
If he's 19, he's a protege, and he has maybe three skills that are very rare. He's got, to be able to do this, you need perfect pitch and you need relative pitch. You need the combination. And I think a human that has both of those attributes is probably like 1 in a million. And his skill actually is not in his fingers. His skill is right here. His skill is in his brain. He hears it all, and he knows how to package it all together. And if he is 19, he's like light years beyond his age, okay? He's playing things through his natural talent that guitar players that have played for 40, 50 years every day don't get, okay? So he has a gift.
You're seconding everything that I say in all of the reactions that I do to this young man here, in the sense that I always say, I don't care if you've been playing the guitar for 40 years. Yes. You're not going to play the guitar to be able to do this, because there's only a few people on the planet, if that can do this.
Yeah. And I'll tell you one more thing too. His guitar playing is very clean. I mean, that's very important to listen to, because a lot of players can play up to that speed, but they're not clean. I call them, they're messy or they're sloppy. And also he has a really well-developed sense of rhythm, because I'm hearing in my head, if he had a metronome, which a lot of guitar players use, like he would be like right on, right on.
It's like he's a drummer. It's like he's a drummer. It's like he's a drummer or played some sort of percussion where he has a built-in metronome as well. Like at the time,
it's like a sixth sense. Sixth.
You can't teach it. You either have it or you don't have it.
Yeah.
Like.
Stop it quickly there. So I want to point out one thing. What he's doing there is called dynamics. That's a very powerful tool for guitar players because he was doing all his runs and establishing the song and getting the tunes in our head, and then he stopped.
Yeah,
and
transitioned. He transitioned. The
yeah.
transition was so silky, buttery smooth. Craziness, right?
Timing is incredible. His pauses are when he's not playing. It's playing.
But here he took a classical song, and right here there's a little bit of like flamenco in it. Like it's also a genre switch, not just a transition switch.
Yeah. When you learn classical guitar and you master, and they're very particular on finger positions, that lends itself very well to switch into gypsy guitar, Mexican guitar, calypso guitar. You know, they're similar, and he got it. I'm trying to figure out what kind of guitar he's using, but I can't.
Oh, he's from Poland, so he could be using a guitar from over there that is not easily accessible in North America, right?
Chord changes are flawless.
What's that?
Chord changes are flawless.
Everything is flawless, and you're not even hearing his fingers slide on the strings as well. Like it's just so technically perfect that it's like you don't even have to be a fan of these genres of music to respect and appreciate what this young man's doing.
I do appreciate his talent and what he's doing, and
the fact that he's a kid. Like he's 19, he's not a kid, but like he's still a child when it comes to playing music. Do you understand? Do you know what I mean?
Develop a lot more, and I suspect, we're all talking about this, but I suspect, in his upbringing, I'm sure he's played, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours a day for like 15 years, and that,
Oh, he talks about it, but I think he said like where other people were practicing X amount of time, he was putting in, I believe, less than that. He was putting in like where people would practice 7 or 8 hours, he was putting in 3 or 4 hours, I believe. Don't quote me to that, but I believe
there's no fast route. There's no fast way to get where he is.
But when you get it, you get it. It's like math equations. You either get it or you don't get it. Once you understand the formulas behind it, what he's done is he's figured out the formula, and he's figured out the intricacies behind the formula, and is able to add from other things and blend them all seamlessly. It's just crazy good.
Well, in his 19 years, he's learned a lot.
He's learned more than 99.9% of the world.
I do different stuff, but I can't do what he's doing.
You can tell Tommy Emmanuel is like a mega influence on him, though.
Could be, yeah. Let's go.
have it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. That was Marcin Paganini Caprice number 24 on one guitar. So good on so many different levels. Every time I react to this young man, I say he's like, I always say there's so many holy shit moments, because he's also like, clearly he's a writer because he arranged this in that way, but he has so many original songs that are equally as good. Like there's nothing that I've ever heard from this young man where it's like, I don't know, the other stuff was so much better, and like it's always just mind-blowing good.
Well, it's entirely original. I can't think of anybody else who has a style or a technique similar to his. About 30 seconds before the ending, he put in what's called a lot of diminished chords. A lot of players don't know where to put those in or don't know how to use them, and especially they're not that common in classical or flamenco guitar pieces, but he just snuck them in there like it was an invisible transition. Well, this is the future, and I'm sure a lot of young and upcoming guitar players, are going to look at him and learn from him, just like in my day. People, all the rock and roll guitar players.
People have already started.
I'm sure he's going to have a legacy.
People have already started emulating this style.
I'm not surprised.
People have already started adding the percussion to their techniques, and you got to think, people have been playing the guitar for centuries. That to create something new, to create your own lane, to create your own path, to create your own sound, your own chord structures on an instrument that's been played for over 600 years is pretty incredible.
Is it? Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
he's a pioneer. He's an innovator. And in years in the future, so they're going to say, well, who was your influence? How did you learn? And I'm sure his name is going to pop up.
YouTube, you already know what it is at this point, man. Y'all know why over here. I keep it 100. I keep it absolutely 100% with you. This was Marcin Paganini, number 24, one guitar. This was my father, Mr. Brian Gladstone. This was episode 1. Many more coming. We're going to be doing weekly drops once a week. Same bat time, same bat channel every week. From my father to myself, I appreciate you all for taking the time out of your day to chill out, hang out, watch the reaction. As always, in the description is the link to what we're reacting to. Not even going to ask you guys if you like it. Click that link. Make sure to go subscribe over to Marcin's channel. Even if you already are subscribed to Marcin's channel, let them know in the comments that we just reacted to this. It's your boy, ShakesP, keeping it 100, and I'm out.